In 1952, London didn't just have bad weather, the sky literally timed out. For 5 days, the air became a physical solid. It didn't just smell, it dissolved the lungs of 12,000 people.
Subscribe to Silent Archive for more dark history. Comment the next creepy history you want to hear about. We're digging through the wreckage for you.
Today, we're unboxing the Great Smog, a world of blind bus drivers, soot-filled theaters, and the day the atmosphere turned into a weapon.
The archive is open. Visibility is 0. Let's go.
Fact 1. The atmospheric lid. In December 1952, a massive high-pressure system settled over London. This created a temperature inversion, acting like a physical Tupperware lid over the city. Cold air was trapped beneath a layer of warm air, meaning every single ounce of coal smoke from millions of chimneys had nowhere to go. The air was effectively locked inside a vacuum.
London put a plastic wrap over its own exhaust pipe. 10-10 for heat retention, 0-10 for staying alive.
Fact 2. Chemical composition. This was not just fog, because Londoners were burning low-quality coal. The air became a cocktail of sulfur dioxide. When this mixed with water droplets, it underwent a chemical update into sulfuric acid. The city was not breathing air anymore. It was breathing airborne battery acid. Every breath was a corrosive strike against the lungs of the users.
Congratulations, London. You didn't just have fog, you had a 30-mile wide acid bath. Your lungs are now read-only.
Fact 3. Zero visibility. Visibility dropped to 0. Bus drivers had to abandon their seats and walk in front of their own vehicles with lanterns just to find the curb. People walked off piers into the Thames because they could not see their own feet. It was a total failure of the city interface. Users were wandering blindly through a world that had failed to render the environment.
Walking in front of your own bus to guide it is the 1950s version of a GPS recalculating mid-cliff. Real smooth.
Fact 4. Internal penetration. The smog was so dense it did not stay outside. It seeped into theaters and cinemas. Film screenings were canceled because the projector beam could not physically pierce the soot to reach the screen. People in the front row of stage plays could not see the actors' faces. Even indoors, the system was failing to display the content. Everything was just gray.
Paying for a movie ticket just to stare at a wall of gray soot? Still better than most modern remakes, honestly.
Fact 5. Delayed fatality data. At first, the admins thought this was just a nuisance glitch. It was not until undertakers ran out of caskets and florists ran out of funeral flowers that the system crash was realized. 12,000 people were deleted before the authorities even looked at the diagnostic logs. The casualties were silent, stacking up in the dark while the city choked to death.
When the local florist hits a supply chain issue, you know the server is about to go down for good. Yikes.
Fact 6. Animal casualties. At the Smithfield show, prize cattle began to choke and drop dead. Farmers tried to create improvised masks out of burlap sacks soaked in vinegar to save their livestock, but the air was too corrupted. When the animals start force quitting the environment, you know the server is beyond repair. The biological hardware of the city was the first thing to fail.
Even the cows were like, I'm out. When the livestock starts force quitting, your air quality is definitely 1 star.
Fact 7. Physical irritation. The sulfuric acid in the air was so potent it caused people's eyes to burn and water uncontrollably. This created a double-blind effect. If the fog did not hide the world, your own tears did. It was a physical denial of service attack on the human nervous system. Thousands of users were left clutching their faces. unable to see the catastrophe unfolding.
Free eye peeling with every breath. It's the high-end spa treatment nobody asked for. 0 10 stars.
Fact 8. Soot accumulation. People would walk home and find their skin and clothes completely black. It was called the black face effect. If you wiped your face with a towel, it would look like it had been used to clean a filthy oil engine. The city desktop was covered in digital soot. The pollution was physically bonding to every surface, staining the very fabric of the London user base.
Instant goth makeover, courtesy of the British Coal Board. No makeup required, just impending doom.
Fact 9. Infrastructure failure. Ambulances stopped running entirely. They could not see the roads well enough to avoid hitting buildings. People had to walk their dying relatives to the hospital through the pitch-black mist, often getting lost and timing out in the street before reaching help. The emergency response system was offline. There was no support, and there was nitrogen monoxide escape.
A 911 call that results in user not found because the ambulance drove into a park fountain. Classic hardware fail.
Fact 10. Legislative update. This disaster finally forced the government to pass the Clean Air Act of 1956. It was the first time the admins admitted that smog was not a weather glitch, but a man-made error. It was the first major security patch for the atmosphere. It only took 12,000 Ds for the authorities to decide that breathing air should be a basic system requirement.
It only took 12,000 deaths for the admins to decide that air was a priority. Better late than never? Probably not.
Fact 11. Looting and stealth. The fog provided the ultimate stealth mode for criminals. Looting plummeted the city into chaos because police could not see more than a foot in front of them. It was a 5-day period where the global moderation of the city was completely disabled by the weather. Hackers and looters owned the streets while the law was blinded. Total system anarchy. Fact 12. Color distortion. While called black fog, it often turned a sickly, translucent yellow due to the high sulfur content. This PIS-colored haze made the city look like a corrupted video game texture. It was not just dark, it was visually incorrect. The very color of the sky was a warning that the atmospheric GPU had crashed. London was bathed in a toxic, glowing bile.
London in neon yellow mode. When the sky looks like a used highlighter, you know the GPU is dying.
Fact 13. Avian fatalities. Birds were found dead by the thousands, literally falling out of the sky mid-flight because they could not navigate or breathe. The city natural sensors were the first to be deleted by the acidic atmosphere. If the birds hit a wall of soot and die, the user base should have known the air was lethal. The sky was raining dead data, one sparrow at a time.
The birds literally hit a wall of fog. It's like a collision box error in the sky. System crash.
Fact 14. Physical navigation. People developed a London walk where they kept one hand on the walls of buildings just to navigate. If you lost contact with the wall, you were lost in the clouds instantly. The city became a tactile-only interface for 5 straight days. Users were hugging the bricks, terrified to let go of the only solid data left in a world of shifting. Black smoke. Fact 15. Respiratory impact. Doctors noted that everyone in London was coughing up solid black PHM. The body was trying to clean up the soot, but the intake was faster than the output. It was a hardware-level clogging of the human filtration system. Your lungs were effectively trying to 3D print coal. The biological filters were overwhelmed by the sheer volume of corrupted air.
Your lungs were basically trying to 3D print coal. Not the kind of productivity we're looking for, London.
Fact 16. Long-term damage. Even after the fog lifted, thousands more died in the following months from respiratory fragmenting. The damage to the lungs.dll file was permanent for many. The archive shows that the crash had a tail that lasted for years. The restart did not fix the corrupted files. Once your lungs are scorched by acid, there is nitrogen monoxide undo button for your health.
The restart didn't fix the corrupted files. Once your lungs are scorched, there's no undo button.
Fact 17. Olfactory data. Survivors described the smell as rotting EGGS, mixed with burning rubber. It was a sensory overflow that stayed in the clothes and hair for weeks after the event. The data of the smog was physically bonded to the city inhabitants. You could not wash the memory away. It was a persistent cookie, a toxic scent that reminded every survivor of the week the sky died.
Rotting eggs and rubber, the ultimate 1950s cologne, essence of industrial neglect. Delicious.
Fact 18. Illumination limits. High-powered flashlights were useless. The light would just bounce off the thick particles of soot and shine back into the user eyes. It was a light scatter glitch that made tools meant for safety actually more dangerous. Your flashlight was just a blind yourself button. Physics itself had been rewritten to ensure that nitrogen monoxide, one could see the truth in the dark.
Your flashlight is just a blind yourself button now. Physics really said no to your light source.
Fact 19. Impact on policy. London's killer fog became the global case study for air pollution. It is why we have air quality indexes today. It was the day one patch that the entire world had to install to prevent their own cities from timing out. London died so your city could have a moderate rating. The sacrifice of 12,000 users became the foundation of modern environmental security.
London died so your city could have a moderate air quality rating. You're welcome, I guess.
Fact 20. System warning. The Great Smog is a reminder that the environment is not a passive asset. If you do not manage the output data, the sky will eventually uninstall you. The archive is open. The air is clear for now. But remember, the system is always watching. Stay curious, stay breathing, and never ignore the warning signs of an atmospheric crash. File closed.
Stay curious, stay breathing, and maybe don't burn low-grade coal in a heat inversion. Just a thought. The Great Smog. Proof that the sky can be just as toxic as the ground if the system fails. London finally updated its air quality drivers, but the 12,000 ghosts of 1952 are still in the archive.
Subscribe to Silent Archive for more dark history and comment the next creepy history you want to hear about.
Like this video to keep your lungs in read-write mode. Subscribe to join the vault. Don't let the fog in. Vaulting this file. Stay curious, stay breathing. See ya.